Today, let's talk about definitions. Before we start talking about definitions, I thought it was good to give some context on just exactly what the census says about how many people with disabilities there are in the United States. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans identified as having a disability. That is 56.7 million people, or roughly 19% of our population. So when you think about the big numbers, it's kind of abstract, but to think 1 in 5, that's pretty significant. So with that, the simple definition of disability, something you'd find in your dictionary, just simply reads a condition such as illness or an injury that damages or limits a person's physical or mental abilities. Definition made by the Americans with Disabilities Act state that a person with a disability is typically defined as someone who meets one of 3 criteria. 1, has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. So that could be like bathing, eating, walking. 2, has a record of such impairment. Or 3, is regarded as having such impairment. Going further than that, for the purposes of Social Security benefits, a person with a disability must have a severe disability or a combination of disabilities that has lasted or is expected to last at least 1 year, result in death, which prevents working at a significant gainful activity level. So for example, I'm on Social Security, and because I'm defined under their definition of disability as not being able to perform significant gainful activity. Beyond the very simple and basic and governmental definitions of disability, disability scholars and academia have gone a step further in an effort to understanding the social, political, cultural, and economic factors that define disability. There are several different models, but I'm just going to focus on 3 today. There's the medical model, the inspirational or religious model, and the social model. The medical model basically states that the disability is the problem of the person, directly caused by disease, trauma, or other health condition, and therefore requires sustained medical care and a cure. It looks more at the disease than the person. And this is very frustrating to many disabled people because basically when we go to the doctor's office, we're often treated as the disease and not a person, and with that comes a lot of objectification and presumption and just not regarding us as human people. And it can be very isolating and scary. So the medical model of disability is one of the oldest models. It's been one of the hardest for our community to combat because our conditions often do require medical intervention. So the second model is another really disturbing one. It's the religious or inspirational model. You have some magic superpowers that you've been blessed, you've been touched, you're special. I actually had a woman in Walgreens once walk up to me and want to like pat my head because she thought I knew Jesus, which, okay, it was weird. And then it cuts the other way that if you have a disability, you're seen as demonic or possessed. And then the inspiration part of it is that you're seen as like obviously the pity complex, that you're so inspiring for overcoming your disability. And it's a lot of what you see in the telethon talk of individuals being praised for really doing nothing other than just being alive. There is a really paternalistic and patronizing adulation of existence for really no reason other than primarily your disability. It's very off-putting and offensive. Finally, the last model I want to talk about, which I ascribe to and a lot of my friends in the community do, is the social model. So yeah, the social model of disability sees the issue of disability as a socially created problem and a matter of full integration of individuals into society. In this model, the disability is not an attribute of the individual, but rather a complex collection of conditions, many of which are created by the social environment. One of my favorite examples of this is when Paul Longmore, a disability scholar, was giving a talk, and he used a power wheelchair. What he was saying was, when he would roll up to a step, along with an able-bodied person who would come up on that same step, the only thing that would make him disabled was the step. Meaning, if there was a ramp, they could both go forward. But the step is what was impairing his ability to move forward. So that's, I think, a really good illustration example of what is being defined in the social model of disability. So that's it for today. I hope you found some of this information helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing, and I will love to talk to you in the comments. So thanks for watching. Bye!